Good morning. Good morning. Or this morning I should just say morning because I'm still trying to wake up. Almost missed the show, sure. But here we are. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us for this very first episode of August. Can you believe it is amazing how quickly time flies. It feels like yesterday that we had our first Women's Month celebration here on the show. It was still called VCF back then. And we had women on the show as guests for the entire month. And this year we're going to do exactly the same. The only big difference now is that, last year we went live twice a week. Now it's only every Friday, so only once a week. So what I'm going to do is that we are going to have panel discussions with women throughout the month. So that means that we will have 2 or more women in a particular episode, except today. Today, we only have Cathy. So very happy to have Cathy with us this morning, and we're going to get into a nice discussion with her. I hope she brought her English along all the way from Bloemfontein. So we'll see. No pressure, Cathy. You kan het rustig vat. With that, good morning. Thank you very much for saying hi. Let me quickly say hi to you. So Ben, good morning. Also saying hi to all the ladies. Thank you very much, Ben. Tinus, goeiemôre. Nice om jou te sien. Good morning, Tracy. Always awesome to have you here as well. LinkedIn user, not sure who you are, but good morning. Thank you so much for saying hi. Adam, goeiemôre my maat. Ek hoop dit gaan goed daar by jou. Mr. Mark Lane. Heerlikheid. Man, it's been a while. Wow, I hope you're well down in Melbourne. So awesome to see you. Sorry. Herman, goeiemôre. And Seema, good morning. Awesome to have you with us this morning as well. And Albert Fritz sneaking in there right at the end. Goeiemôre Albert. Hoop het gaan goed daar by jou. En Jaco Roots, they keep on coming. Good morning, Jaco. Goeiemôre. So with that, let's get into the news. And this morning, very happy to say that we have, in true, Women's Month tradition, we have Lelani back from the Financial Planning Institute, and she's bringing us the latest news and some facts that we can use at dinner parties, I hope. So, or maybe just some tips for men, to really look after our women so much better. So, Lelani, I'm looking forward to that surprise. And with that, over to you in the news studio.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. My voice is also still a bit sleepy, so I apologize for that. We had quite a busy day yesterday. We did podcasts and other shows, and we had our retirement and investment online session. And Seema, I see you're online. I have to give you a shout out. Well done for yesterday. We had quite a lot of speakers there. It was really a good session, especially the one from Dr. Prince, the money doctor. That was quite a very interesting session, and we had a very robust discussion around risk profiling as it relates to the suitability of professional investment advice. We are launching a paper on that. It's an industry paper between the Financial Planning Institute and the Financial Intermediary Association. We are actually launching that paper today, and it has been accredited for an additional 2 CPD hours, 1 technical for investment advice, obviously, and 1 ethics and practice standards, because we do look at a few ombudsman cases, and that's phase ombudsman cases in that instance. So, Seema, shout out to you, and then welcome to everybody online. I see we have a variety of FPI professional members online today, from RFPs to FSAs to CFP professionals, and I welcome you. So, what happened? Well, let's have a look at what happened last night. For those who tuned in, last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced a reshuffle in the cabinet. Now, I'm not going to go through all the changes. I'm maybe going to look at the 2 significant changes that maybe impact specifically our sector. So 2 significant changes for those who don't know yet. Amongst that is that Tito Mboweni, the Minister of Finance, decided to resign. I know he wanted to resign for some time, but President Cyril eventually accepted his resignation. So Tito Mboweni resigned, as well as Dr. Zweli Mkhize, the Minister of Health. So the two of them resigned. So now, who is the new finance minister? And let's just find out a little bit more about him. Well, it's Enoch Godongwana. Some of the previous roles that he had was, for instance, the former Deputy Minister of Public Enterprises, as well as the head of the ANC's Economic Transformation Committee. He was also non-executive director and chair of the Development Bank of South Africa and a non-executive director of the new Development Bank. So quickly, let's have a look at some of his qualifications that I could find online. He holds an MSc in financial economics all the way from the University of London. So we wish the new finance minister all the best. I think he's got one of the most difficultest budgets to try and navigate, especially with all the riots that was going on in the country and all the COVID relief measures that we need to bring in. So we wish the new finance minister, Enoch, all the best. So let's have a look at who's the new health minister. So the new health minister, as I said, is no longer Dr. Zweli Mkhize. The new health minister is Dr. Joe Fowler. He's 64 years old, as well as a member of the National Assembly, obviously, in South Africa. And he was the Deputy Minister of Health in 2019. Now, I think it does make sense that he was the Deputy Minister of Health before. I think it was 2014 and 2019, if I recall correctly. So Dr. Fowler will be responsible for driving the ANC's plan for the national health insurance. Now we know all about that. And the public face, he's the new public face of our government's response to the coronavirus crisis, as well as the vaccine rollout. Now, I think 5 years ago, they wouldn't have had such hectic portfolios, but with everything that's happened in the last 3 years, I think it feels like they are the ministers on a new planet, with all the riots going on, as well as the coronavirus crisis with the slow vaccine rollout in South Africa. But with that, I hope you've registered for your vaccine. It's open for the younger individuals now as well, all the way from 39 and up. So please make sure that you register. Let's quickly have a look at the Financial Sector Conduct Authority and what's happening there. I must say the FSA is very, very busy. They've ramped up their stakeholder engagements, and I like seeing that with stakeholders. So normally it's a push from the stakeholders to the FSCA. The FSA has now started to set up meetings from their side with critical stakeholders, and our additional stakeholder engagements with them kicked off yesterday, and that's besides the normal stakeholder engagements that I have with Unati, the new commissioner, and that David has with Cathy and the rest of the team there. So let's just quickly have a look at what's happening from an FSCA point of view. If you've missed it, it's okay. It's still open for public comment. And there's yet again proposed amendments to the Long-Term Insurance Act and Short-Term Insurance Act Policyholder Protection Rules, or short PPR. And why are they doing that? Remember, there's a harmonization project at the moment where they pretty much massage the new regulatory environment into the existing regulations that we have to be more a conduct-based point of regulation rather than tick box. So for those who don't know yet, we have moved into a conduct-based type of, and that's why it's the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. So PPR, there's been some changes to align more with the changes that we see in the FSR Act, and it's open for public comment till the 10th of September. Now, it feels like a long time from now, but it's not. I'm furthermore a bit concerned, Francois and listeners, if I look at the amount of public warnings that has come out just in this week. Now, I'm linked straight to the news flashes coming from the FSCA, and I've seen a lot of public warnings coming out, especially this week. I don't know if it's because of the change of season, I don't know. But let's have a look. The first one, Cryptocurrency Trading Group Limited. What are they doing wrong? Well, they're using a false FSP license number and rendering unauthorized financial services. And this is the trend with the rest of them. And then you have the Wealth Club. Well, the moment somebody from the Wealth Club approaches me, I would go like, this sounds something is wrong. So it's the Wealth Club, again, operating under a license that belongs to someone else, and there being no relation between the real license holder and the Wealth Club. So for the financial services providers online, please make sure that you, and this is an expression I always use, look and kyk gelyk. Make sure that you know who and what is connected to your license. Constantly investigate your own license to make sure that there isn't identity theft of your FSP license. Then a warning against green gold organization, a warning against Mariki van der Merwe and IC Markets, a warning again, no loss. Now, if somebody comes to me and say, hey, please, here's a product from no loss, I'm going to run the other way. And then warning against essentials and put Motupi shy. So watch out for all these warnings. It is available on the FSCA's website, but we will try and alert you every Friday to which warnings came out. And I think the lesson I take from this is if you're a key individual or an owner of your own financial services provider, please make sure that you at all times know who's using your license. Then on a more positive note, FPI released its latest integrated report. There's a lot of work that went into it. If you've missed it, please visit www.fpi.co.za and use it. Just go to the About Us tab. We did publish it on social media as well, but under About Us, you'll see integrated reports and then download the 2020 integrated report. Now, everybody's having a public holiday on Monday because of Women's Day. I wish everybody a happy Women's Day. And to your point, Francois, how do you keep the love of your life happy? Just smile and be nice and be friendly. That's it. That's quite easy. And make sure that you make her lots and lots of coffee and give her flowers. You know, we're not always looking for expensive gifts. It's a gift from the heart, a flower from the garden with a warm cup of coffee on Monday morning would do. Thank you so much. Blessings to our listeners. Have a fantastic long weekend. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lelani. That always amazes me. Like, you look at the name of something like, I mean, as you said, the Wealth Club or, you know, No Loss. And it's so blatantly obvious, you know. But I guess maybe also because we're so aware of it. But for the normal person on the street, it sounds like this is what I've been looking for, you know, kind of thing. And it's such a shame that they are using, you know. And I'm also hyper aware of people trying to use emotion against you, you know, or play on your feelings, or, you know, the goodness of your heart, or anything like that. And I always say also, if somebody drives around when it comes to money and they have these magnetic sort of signs on the side of their car, just go the other way. It's, yeah. I see you on mute there, Lelani. So yeah, it's just crazy. But thank you very much. Yes, it's actually easy to keep a woman happy, right? Just be kind and wees net ordentlik, man. So yeah, thank you so much, and have a good one. We'll see you next week. Definitely. I think next week, the week thereafter, I can't remember now, but I know that one of these episodes, I'm happy to announce that we're going to have all the power women, well, not all of them, the screen is too small, but we're going to have some of the power women from the FBI on here. So we're going to have Lani and Adele and Nikki coming on to the show. Unfortunately, Seema will be on leave. She was also supposed to be with us, but really looking forward to that discussion as well. So until then, Lelani, I look forward to seeing you.
Blessings.
Good stuff. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right, so next up, let's go to Norma for personal development this morning, and looking forward to hear what she's going to talk about. She's going to talk about which Vic are you? Like, which Vic? You need to decide, you know? So let's hear.
Morning, everyone. My topic for today is victim mentality. So it's really those areas in our life where we sometimes don't even notice this victim mentality, but we know that we're not taking full responsibility. So it's those times that we blame or we make excuses for where we are or the reason that we don't get the result that we want. So I'm definitely not talking about the actual victims that, has experienced very traumatic events in their life. I'm just talking about the everyday situations where we say that someone else is at fault, that someone ruined my life or ruined me financially, where I say that someone doesn't love me enough, that's where I am, that's because the reason I am here where I am today, I might not be getting enough support in a certain project and that project failed, or I might not think that I got recognition because I wasn't one of the favorites. So those are the type of things that I'll be discussing. So how can we think about this differently and in a way that actually benefits us? So if we take full responsibility, then we have the power to really change anything that we don't like. So if we blame or we make excuses or we think we don't have control, then we actually give our power away. So I always talk about how our thinking creates how we feel, and that determines the actions that we take. And that's actually quite a very powerful statement. So let's just look at an example. So let's say, for instance, I have a consultation discussion or meeting with a client. And at the end of that consultation meeting, the client doesn't decide yes or no. And then a couple of days later, I phone her and I want to follow up. And she tells me that she might have gone with another broker or another advisor. So there's really two ways that I can think about it. So on the one side, I can say that this client wasn't really a good fit for me. She was maybe distracted on the call. She wasn't very committed, and I think she wasn't really a serious buyer. Or on the other side, I can think that how can I improve my process? So once I evaluate this whole consultation that I've had with her, I can maybe find that I maybe didn't connect with her, or I didn't maybe show her enough value, or I didn't explain the features of the product well enough. So what we want to come down to is really look at these two scenarios and see which one serves me the most. So which way of thinking serves me the most? The one where I blame the client or make excuses, or the one that I take full responsibility, where I say, okay, where can I improve my situation? So where do I take responsibility? Where do I have most control? And obviously then the second scenario would be where is the way of thinking that serves me the most. So that is the place where I can grow, where I can learn, where I can become a better salesperson, maybe become a better listener and improve my compassion, for instance. So I need to go and do the work. So I can't expect someone else to go and do the work for me. I'm the one that has control over what I think, how I feel, and the way that I act. So once I've gone through this whole process, then, and if it's still maybe not in my favor, then I know that I've done everything I can. I've learned from the experience, and then I can let it go, and I don't make it mean anything, and I don't beat myself up about it. So how can we move away from this victim mentality and have a growth mindset? Is that when these things happen that is not in our favor, where we might feel disappointment, as in this case that I've just explained, then we can just process those negative emotions and we can move on. We don't have to make it mean anything. That if we have limiting beliefs that maybe served us when we were younger, that don't serve us anymore, then we can also let those go and change those beliefs. That if we have success in our life, that we can acknowledge the effort that we've put into that success, and that we don't make it mean that it was a fluke and we might not be able to repeat that success again. And even in the cases when we don't make the mark, that we also don't make it mean anything, that we allow ourselves to make mistakes and then just move forward. That we can challenge our habits. So if I've had the habit for the last 10 or 15 years, that it is in my power to actually change those habits if it's not serving me anymore. And that we can look at success stories in the world and find inspiration from it. So if I can think of Oprah Winfrey, which is a good example in this case, because although she was an actual victim, that she was very justified to become a victim, but she actually went the opposite route and made a big success of her life. We can also do the things that makes us feel strong. So for me, feeling strong might be, having or doing a physical challenge that might sort of remind me of my power. But for everyone, that's different. You might have a different experience of that. That we don't have to give up when things are hard, that we have to keep on practicing to not say always yes to the easy things and the things that gives us pleasure in the moment. That we can compete only with ourselves. So we don't even know our full potential. But if we compete with other people, then we can only become as good as they are. And that we need to know that there's always going to be obstacles. So nothing has gone wrong. There's always obstacles in the process, and that we just need to know we just need to move ahead. And then lastly, that we design our own life, because we know that our thinking creates our results. We know that we have the power to create our own destiny. So just to summarize, is that this is what I've explained is a very subtle way that victim mentality sometimes creeps into our life. But when we know that we start making excuses or blame something external, then we know that is a red light that's flashing. But that we can remind ourselves that we do have more power than we think, and we do have control over what we think, how we feel, and the way we act. Thank you so much. That's it from me, and I'll speak to you again next week, and have a great Women's Day on Monday.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Norma. And I hope that you're going to take some time on the weekend and also celebrate and, just have a good time. But stay safe and stay warm. It does feel like it's getting warmer now. So, yeah, it's all good stuff. But thank you very much, and we'll see you back next week.
Great. Thank you.
Good stuff. Have a good one. Alrighty. So before I introduce Cathy, let me just make just two announcements this morning. The first one is just a reminder of the Speaker and Influencer program. We have really been so happy and excited about all the applications coming in. We've got such a diverse group of people applying to become part of the Speaker and Influencer program in 2022. So just maybe if you haven't seen it, I just quickly want to do a 40-second little video just to show you again what it's about and give you the link where you can go and register. Remember, this program is fully sponsored. It's brought to you by Propulsion Pro, Profile Me, and Next Gen Planners. And it's been a huge success this year. And you'll have you can indicate that you want to talk at the conference next year, or if you don't want to, that's up to you. But this is really an amazing, amazing opportunity to build your communication skills, to build your way of putting together your message, and to deliver that message with confidence and in a way that people will actually be drawn into that. We will help you with telling better stories. So there's so much that happens during this. And we have people like Dominic Colenso and Nick Elston and Adam Owen and Kate Holmes that are the mentors and the coaches in this, and they are all internationally recognized speakers. So really a huge opportunity. There's only space for 30 South Africans, so please get your name out there. We're looking for 15 men, 15 women, and so please get there and register. All right, so there on the screen is the link where you can go and register. It's a very short little application form because there is a process by which we will look at the applications, have a short little interview with everybody that applied, and then you will either make it or you won't. But so there's a bit of a process, and this only starts really early next year. And but the applications close the 31st of August. So please go and register right now. And we would love to talk to you and to also see you on the program next year and be part of the second cohort that comes from South Africa. It's really an amazing, amazing opportunity. All right, and then lastly, before I bring Cathy on, she's been sitting there, I see, doing stretches and doing all sorts of stuff, getting ready for all the amazingness that she's bringing this morning. But just quickly, the 5-day communication challenge. This is the challenge for August. It's a 5-day communication challenge that we are having over on Propulsion Pro. So members can do this it's part of your membership. So there's no cost to do it. If you are not a Propulsion Pro member, one of two options. You can either join the communication challenge, and it's 750 Rand. If you are a Profile Me or a ComSpace client, you get a bit of a discount. But you can choose, what you want to do. You can also become a member and then just be able to do this and all the other amazing things that we're doing on the platform as well. But what is the 5-day communication challenge about? Well, it's simply where we are going to help you first understand your communication modality. We're going to help you build trust rapidly. We're going to look at how to really listen, how to develop great questioning techniques. And then also on the last day, we are going to help you to be able to explain and communicate your value proposition clearly to whoever needs to hear about that. So that's in 5 days. Adam Owen is going to run with it. We start off with a live session on Monday and we end off with a live session on Friday. So it's really an amazing opportunity. If you really wanted to work on communication skills, so this is nothing to do with public speaking and awesome stuff like that. This is just clearly things that can help you in your business and just connect with other people so much better. This is absolutely a challenge that I would say that you need to do. If you are interested, you can just go to propulsion.co.za/comms to do that. If you want to become a member of Propulsion Pro, you just go to propulsion.co.za/pro. All the information is there, and then you can sign up from there as well. Alrighty, so with that one, then it is time for me to introduce my guest this morning, and I'll see you on the other side of this. There we go. Good morning, Cathy. Hello, Cathy.
Good morning.
Welkom. Awesome. Daar sê dit moes erger gewees het vir jou om so vroeg op te staan in die Vrystaat, want dis bietjie kouer daar as hier, neem ek aan in die oggend.
Ja, dit is bietjie koud, maar ek het ook 3 kinders wat ek by die skool moet kry, so hierdie mamma is vroeg al wakker.
Awesome stuff. Okay. Good stuff, Cathy. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you with us. I think a lot of people, especially our English-speaking people, have thought about, Vroufees, what fees? What fees do I need to pay for this? Like, I don't know. But Vroufees is eintlik, it's an Afrikaans word that sort of you started using. So just before we get into all of this, just maybe quickly introduce yourself and just who is Cathy, and then I want to get into your story and a whole host of other things. But first, just, who's Cathy?
Okay, well, I'm Cathy. Good morning. It's lovely to be here at the beginning of Women's Month. It's awesome. Thank you for doing this. It's so great. So I am from Bloemfontein. I'm a full-time working mom of 3 beautiful girls. I live here with my husband. And I am a vlogger, micro-influencer, I heard the other day, which is pretty cool. I do public speaking. I have published chapters in books, not my own book yet. So I'm a semi-author. I've published in books that has been published by Carpe Diem Media, which is Finesse magazine. And I do facilitation. I do MC work. I have an online community on Facebook, which is Vroufees, which we'll talk about just now. And I'm really passionate about bringing women back to loving themselves again, claiming your confidence back a little bit, getting out of the I'm just a mom mentality. So I'm really passionate about women connecting, supporting one another. And that's why Women's Month is always so special to me.
Yeah, and I've been looking for an opportunity to bring you onto the show. But it's like, and I thought, because last year I didn't like it, there was so much that was going on. Obviously, first season of the show, and things happened at such a pace. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, geez, I should have spoken to you to get you onto the show. So this year, I thought, let me start with you so I don't miss out on this opportunity again. Awesome. And Cathy, so where did all of this start for you? This was Cathy was Cathy doing her thing, being a mom, all this stuff, and then suddenly, your life, I think, changed. And I don't know whether you had a vision for this. But maybe before we get to exactly what happened, sort of what were the things that you were doing before you sort of, took on this Vroufees role, I would say, and it really also celebrating women. And that's why I thought, what would Vroufees be in English, by the way? So it was like, I couldn't come up with a good one. So I just thought Vroufees, just leave it like that. It's a celebration.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to. But what were Cathy up to before all of this Vroufees stuff happened?
Well, yeah, I was exactly what you said. I was just a normal mom of my, well, 2 kids at that stage. And it's so funny always when you say, suddenly, but this has been like 7+ years in the making, I think. I just got to this point and I thought, I work full time at the University of the Free State, love my job. And then I wanted more, like a creative outlet, sort of. So I wrote blogs for many, many years. I'm good with words. And then I thought, if I'm good writing, I shouldn't be too bad at speaking. So then I pursued a little bit of a radio career. So I did time on a community radio station in Bloem, and then I did time on OFM. And that was just amazing. It taught me to speak. On radio, it's live. You have one shot. There's no, okay, listen, let's do another take. So that really built my confidence in terms of speaking. And then that came to an end because I just realized radio is a very demanding job. So I couldn't do that with the family. So that came to an end, but it was one wonderful experience. And then I started making these little videos on Facebook. And that's kind of the story of Vroufees started there. And a friend of mine, Lizelle, actually helped me come up with the name. And it fit so perfectly because, if you want to absorb all the negativity in the world, it's going to be there for you to absorb. But if you focus on the positive and focus on really celebrating who you are and coming back to, loving who you are, and that kind of got it all started. But before that, I was just, just a mom, but looking for something more the whole time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like I remember back in the day that when this whole radio thing, like, I mean, you and I did talk a little bit about it because I think that was the time when I was actually in Bloem for that period of time. And it was an interesting journey, and it's actually the one thing that I take away from what you just said, I was very demanding and I couldn't do it, but I learned so much from it. And that's the thing, you get confidence by doing something and by almost, I want to say, being thrown in the deep end, but also not by yourself, right? I mean, you didn't start a radio station and there you sat at home alone with a computer and tried to talk to the world. I mean, you were among some of the most amazing sort of people to help you get into that. And especially at OFM, I think you really worked with some great names that will go down in history, at least in the Free State, I know. So, to be able to learn from that, and that wouldn't have happened if you didn't pursue it, number one. And secondly, if you didn't put yourself in that position. And thirdly, I guess, had the courage to just see it through, and just doesn't matter how nervous you got live on air, it's just later on. And people always ask, do you still get nervous? Like, do you get nervous? It's like for this morning, are you nervous?
I would say it's more of an excitement now than it was nervous always in the past. It's more of an excitement now, but every time just before we got, there's just this turn of the stomach. But I've kind of taught myself to use that as excitement more than nerves. So that helps.
And maybe because it's a new audience, it's not somebody that you usually would speak to. Whereas for me, it's like these are my friends and my circle and my, so I don't get nervous at all anymore. But I do know, like about what was it in February last year, I got to be on a panel for the tax institutes for their tax thing. And that was weird because I didn't know the people. It was a brand new sort of group of people that one doesn't know who I am. And secondly, it's just this, but you go and do it and they 5 minutes in, everything settles and you're so comfortable. But I think too many people are letting the nerves and the, those butterflies and those feelings keep them away. They use it as a reason not to do it instead of a reason to actually go and do it. And I mean, the things that you've done since all of this is just amazing. So what happened? So how did, as you said, Vroufees was a long time in the making, like many things. People think oh, she made one video and just see what happened. And that's not the case. They don't see all the other stuff that goes in before that. But what was that one moment that sort of swung the pendulum for you?
Well, for me, the one moment is I started making these short little videos on Facebook. I got lazy kind of because you can say so much more in a video in 30 seconds than people don't want to go and sit and read a long written thing. So I started making these short videos, and then one random Thursday afternoon, I made a video about, I saw this photo on Facebook, right? And it said, it's this silhouette of a pregnant lady lying on her side, and across the belly it's written, how can you ever say anything negative about your body when you have felt the dancing of life within your womb? And it got to me. And I sat in my car before fetching my kids from school. And I just had this moment, and I'm a very in the moment vlogger. So if something happens in my life, I feel I want to make a video, it needs to go out now. So I recorded this video, and I talked about how I was so focused on what I didn't have. I don't have a flat stomach anymore. I have stretch marks. I'm never going to have, I have the mommy boopy. And then I kind of lost sight of what I do have. Like, this body gave me 3 beautiful, healthy children. And how we as women tend to be so damn hard on ourselves. And you forget you're beautiful, you're amazing, your body has done this. And then my heart really going out to women that yearn for being a mom but can't because of fertility issues, and how my worry about my stretch marks or my healthy pair of thighs kind of, I lost sight of what my body did and what I have and what other people yearn for. And then this video went completely bonkers everywhere, and I think it's like over 600,000 views on Facebook at the moment. And then everything just blew up. Publications contacted me, and it's funny that you said about the overnight success, because Volksblad way back then had this headline about mom almost success overnight because of body video or something like that. And firstly, I thought, okay, nice, people are going to think, what did I post about my body online? And second, overnight success. No, it's been years in the making. Anyway, so then I got all of these Facebook requests. My friends on Facebook skyrocketed to 5,000 within 2 days. And then I got these messages from women all over thanking me, of reminding them that they were still beautiful, they could still be sexy and sensual even though they're a mother, and just loving their bodies, because this is the body you have now. And I kind of realized that there was a need for more for these women. And then I started the page. And it's been overwhelming. The community that we have there, the support that we have there, it's just amazing. So that was the moment for me, that specific video. And, women don't like talking about their bodies because we feel embarrassed and we are afraid of judgment. But I just decided that I will never be afraid to speak about anything, because if we, people connect to stories, to each other's stories, and something in the story I tell, no matter how simple I think it is, someone sees something in that story, hears something in that story that reminds them of something that they went through or something that I can connect to, and you have an immediate connection with that person, and that never goes away. So, I tell my story on a daily basis and hope people find something that resonates with them in some way.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, it's amazing that sometimes you know, and I'm just thinking, like, just getting back to the Volksblad. I mean, these, like, they are very good at putting a line, a headline that could be this or it could be that, because they want to trigger people's in, and it's not always good, necessarily for the person that headline relates to. But I don't think they ever really consider that. It's about, like, how many Volksblads are we selling today, But be that as it may, they also say that, any sort of, marketing is marketing, It's like people do look, well, what their reason may have been to pick up that newspaper in the first instance. And, I mean, there's so many things that you've done since then. I mean, there was also this thing that, which was amazing. I really loved watching that always, was the Vitlam in my car. So that was quite a fun thing, because, apart from the fact that it was always like, or usually most of the time, it was these very well-known celebrities that you got to get into your car. So I guess, using your radio connections, backgrounds, like, because you got to connect with a lot of people through that opportunity. And it's also, and I just want to, like, I'm just thinking about this now, like, if you think about all the things you've done, even before this all happened, and what that made possible after this huge event that sort of took place, you never know when you're busy with something, what that is going to lead to. You know, something that seems insignificant today, something that seems like it doesn't even matter today. It doesn't, I'm just wasting my time here. Sometimes 5 or 10 years down the line, that leads to something that if that never happened, this definitely wouldn't have happened. And that is like, it's like, I don't know, it's like, I guess because I'm longer on earth now, I'm like 45 years. You have these moments more and more where something happened a long time ago, you know, but it opens a door way down the line. And is that your experience?
Most definitely. And, you know, the thing is, in this day and age, we are on the boat of instant gratification. So we want everything now. It has to be successful now. Things have to happen now. And I think the biggest thing that this taught me was patience. I was building my brain for years, and I was kind of, you know, like you said, making connections and connecting with people, and all of a sudden something happens that puts you on the map, I guess. But it's a thing of don't ever give up. I saw this thing on Facebook the other day, 2 people kind of in a tunnel, and the one is far from the end and the other one is close to the end, but he decides to give up. And if he just went like a meter further, he would have had a breakthrough. So it's never give up. Just keep on what you're doing. At some point, you're going to have a breakthrough. But then I also want to say, when I started making the videos, I had like, you know, 300 views on a video, stuff like that, which at that time was huge for me.
Yeah,
so I taught myself to never put the success of a video or a post on the amount of views, the amount of shares, whatever. I really feel that because I'm such an in the moment vlogger, if something presses on my heart and I need to record this video, I need to get it out, someone out there needs to hear it. I firmly believe in that. So if you have 1 view on a video, and if that person maybe needed that today, mission accomplished. So it's wonderful to see the shares and the views and the comments and everything, get the discussions going, but never put a value on a number of views. That's one thing that I did learn.
Yeah, I think focus on what it is that you're trying to achieve and why you're doing this and the message that you want to get out there. That's so much more important. You know, if you really look, even my show, when we started, it was the same thing. We started off with like 1 view, and then it sort of grew and it really peaked at this stage. I mean, we have some of these episodes that have got over 600 views and so forth.
Awesome.
And in the last, I mean, since this year where everybody went back to work and all of it, the views are, you know, a lot less than that. But I'm not stopping. It's just a case of, you know, this is the message. And whether somebody picks this up 3 years from now or whether they do it whenever, because the things we do is very evergreen. And I find that's the same that you're doing. The things that you talk about, it's not always like, oh, what's in the news and what's going to get traction. No, it's real issues and things that have always been an issue and that is always going to be an issue. You know, so is that also an important thing? You know, if you want to voice your opinion, you want to voice your views on the world and those kind of things, you know, do you focus more on things that's going to get you noticed, or do you focus more on things that have longevity and that if I watch it 5 years from now, it's like you said it to me today?
That's the thing. You can't post something that you think will be successful, because then what you post is going to be very limited and it's going to be very calculated, and I don't like that. So you're going to get good reactions, you're going to get very bad reactions, and you're going to get a lot of views, and you're going to get not a lot of views, and it happens. But you have to focus on the value that you add. I mean, I don't do posts that, you know, I don't follow the popular opinions and stuff. This is my page. I'm sharing my opinions, my views, and my page, my rules. So I post what I like. You like it, you don't like it, that's fine with me. But at least you took the time to listen, and hopefully some way it added a bit of value to someone's life. But yeah, I like authenticity. People can smell fakeness a mile away, so you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, and I mean, has there ever been a time where you thought like, no, I'm going to stop? Like, has there been something that happened that made you doubt what you are doing and whether it's, you know, you want to continue?
I don't think I ever thought about stopping, but I did have to grow a very thick skin, because people are very brave on social media and there are no consequences to what they say. So they think they know you, they think they can attack you personally about stuff. So I had to really teach myself, to not take that personally. And then also I will bless you and I will block you, because my page, my rules. And I want this to be a positive environment and an uplifting environment. And if you are not contributing to that, you can go cock and carom on your own page, go do that. But this is a space. So there's no one moment that I felt just, no, I'm sorry, I'm done. But there are moments that you feel, is this really making an impact? And then one random inbox message pops up, someone just thanking you for something that you said that really touched their heart, and then you're like, okay, let's do this. Let's go on.
Yeah. So tell me, if specifically now, because I mean, obviously we're celebrating Women's Month, and I'm proud of the show because we feature women on the show regularly. So I think we've got a good split between how many men and women we've got on the show and so forth. But for me, it's not even about that. For me, it is just about. And I saw Kobus said earlier as well that we need more women professionals in our professions. We need more women to come into financial planning, for example. But it's not only financial planning. It's actually every facet of life, of every facet of business, every facet of whatever we can think of. We need more women. And, I mean, you've got I would say, just a real job or a normal job. And then you have all this stuff that you're doing. And then you're also nog Mama Meringue. And there's like all these other things that you're doing. So you're also a little entrepreneur at heart, but like what message would you say, or how should women approach this? And how do they take that first step in order to claim their stake and to claim their space? Because I understand I've heard so many stories, and the first time I heard a story, I go like, whatever, it's just like an excuse. But then you hear these stories over and over and over again of how difficult it is out there for women. But what would you say, like what would be the starting point for somebody who believes in something, whether they have a message, whether they want to do what you're doing, or they want to just go and start a business, or they want to get involved and grow themselves in their career, anything like that, like what is the first, what do you need to do to get that started, I guess is the question.
Well, I think, and I'm so glad Norma talked about victim mentality, because I think women very easily play that card, and that's another unpopular opinion, but we very easily say, what can I bring? I'm just a woman. And that's so not true. And it is so that women can't do everything men can do, and we can do everything men can't do. So we bring a whole nother dimension to everything. Just the other day, I was thinking about something as simple as a school board, the beheerraad. Like only recently, women have started taking a prominent place there. And I was like, but why is this not? I mean, we as moms, we have a completely different take on things. And we have, I think, the empathy factor a lot more. And yes, business is hard and it's, go at it. But I do think you need a little bit of a softer side sometimes. And I think that's what women bring. Not that we can't be hardcore, we can, but I mean, it's a different take. So I would just say, just get started. And I know it sounds simple, but for instance, for me, start with one post. If you want to grow a social media community, for instance, start with one post, start with one video, challenge yourself with one thing. People say, no, but I'm shy, video is not my thing. It's not hard. I'm talking to the phone at the moment. I don't have to be embarrassed. I'm not standing in front. I'm not saying go do public speaking for the first time ever in front of 100 people. Talk to your phone. Practice. Be consistent. Keep at it. Consistency brings confidence and competence. If you are consistent, if you do something over and over again, you're going to get good at it. You're going to get more confident in it. So stop being the victim and start going out and just try. I mean, I sometimes, I work hard, and it's many times if I do talks, it's away from my family and it's all of that. But I'm raising 3 girls. So if I'm hustling and working my ass off, I'm teaching them that it doesn't matter if you're married, it doesn't matter if you're a mom, you can still reach your goals, chase your dreams. And I think that's the way I'm educating them through that is super important. So just get started. Just take that first step. Try something. Don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail, most likely, at some point. Don't let it get you down. Just keep at it. Don't ever just give up, ever.
Yeah, no. I fully agree. And, it's like, you really need to hold on to, because there's this little voice inside of you, that tells you that you are destined for greater things, that you are meant to make a difference. Maybe you don't know how, maybe you don't know what, but you have that little voice say, come on, man, I feel it, like there's something, and I think then the first sort of responsibility that you have is to go and search for what that is, figure it out. But then also, coming back to, let's just say you want to make videos, for example. Do you know how many videos you can make that you never publish?
Yes.
Like however many you want. That's practice. So it doesn't mean that you record yourself on video and then you go and publish every single one of them. No. Like, get an external hard drive, save them there, and see how you've progressed, But there's all these things that we can do. I think the biggest thing is that you need to decide whether you are going to have tenacity and perseverance. And it doesn't matter who says what to you, because remember, suddenly you, doesn't matter who you are now a new threat to somebody. Because like, well, where's this person coming from? And they're doing things differently from me. And yes, she has a more empathetic side. And that's the one thing in financial services I've been saying for a year and a half now, or even a little bit longer, is that women, I believe, will be better financial planners than men, simply because they have empathy naturally. It's just that they approach things differently. They can connect differently. Does that mean that men are redundant? Not at all, right? But there's place for both. And we really need to open up sort of that opportunity and support, from that point of view. So that's one thing that I would say, I would encourage women to come into all facets of life, because, I mean, you've seen these posts, is it in Finland where they've got a woman president, I think?
I think so,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Yeah, and she's been doing great things there. You see other big countries in the world where they have women in very high places in their government, and the difference that makes, because it's a different approach. It is a different way of thinking. And that's what we need to bring together, is this different thinking. It's the one is not better than the other, but imagine what they can do together. And I think that's where we need to be. And then I want to ask you a bit of a hard question, but this is also something that I've noticed since 1994, that when I started working, dis toevallig dat dit 1994 is, but I started working at Standard Bank. And in Standard Bank, we were 3 men. Okay, and the rest were all women. Like, the banking industry used to be like, that's where most women actually started working and so forth. But the one thing that I noticed since then, and that I'm still noticing today, is that women are fighting for their place. But when they get there, women start fighting and competing with each other instead of helping and supporting each other. So that's a statement I want to make. Like, what is your view on that?
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately a very true statement. It happens. It's competitiveness and jealousy, let's call it what it is a big thing amongst the women. And so many times, we don't celebrate each other's successes. We get jealous, and then we go like, what can I do to get better, be better than this woman? And I think what we forget sometimes is that when another woman speaks up, or accomplishes something, it's not necessarily that you or they're not going to be able to do it. She may have just paved the way for you to speak up somewhere down the line, or do something similar down the line. And I used to gym with this guy in Bloemfontein, and Mike, and he used this example always, that we have 2 candles, right? One candle is burning, one candle is not burning. Then I ignite this candle. I don't lose this one's light, but now we have double as much light. We can shine brighter. And that was so spot on for me. Like, if women support women, yeah, amazing things will happen. And it's like when women dress up and make themselves beautiful. I think men under the impression that women do this for them. Women don't try to impress other men. Women try to impress other women. And then that's, I think, it comes all back to just being confident in who you are, and not feeling less than someone just because someone else is maybe getting to a point in their lives before you or whatever. So I think that's a big thing that is missing, is the support for one another. And I'm big on that. So I think that if we have this huge network, if you think about it, in women, like this huge support base, it's already there, it's in place. Like we know what we go through on a daily basis. Men don't know. You try, bless yourselves, but you don't know what it's like, what we have to go through. And we do. And we can support each other in such an amazing way. If we just leave the jealousy at the door, celebrate one another, it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's amazing. So your message for Women's Month to women and to men if you want.
Yes.
But what would that be, Cathy?
Flowers and chocolates and wine. That goes out to the men. That's all I'm going to say. To the women, I would love to tell you that no one is ever just okay. You are either lying to yourself or to someone else. No one is okay all the time, and that's okay. We go through many things daily, and we are more emotional than men. So that means we have more to deal with and more to process every day. And I developed this little acronym that I would love to share, and it's the word GIFT. So when you're not okay, I want you to give yourself a gift, GIFT. And the G stands for get up, get moving, go for a walk, dance naked in the house if you have to, get your body moving. It's going to release endorphins. It's going to make you feel better. Just get up. The I stands for include. Include someone in what you're going through. Phone a friend. Tell your spouse. Phone your mom. Just share your burden, because if someone helps you carry, it's going to be lighter on you. The F is for feel. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Acknowledge the emotion. Yes, when you look back, it might seem, oh, that was insignificant. But when you feel it in that moment, it's valid. Feel it. And then the last one is for T, is to trust yourself. Trust yourself that you will get through this as well. You have survived 100% of your crappy days until today. That's a pretty good record. You will be able to get through this too, but you need to trust yourself. So whenever you feel down or not coping, whatever, give yourself a gift.
Awesome. Wow, what a way to end this off on. Thank you so much, Cathy. So obviously, where can people connect with you? So, obviously Facebook is the main one.
Yes.
And I've got on screen the link, but you can just go look for Cathy de Lange Vroufees. But there is the link, and also on YouTube in the description, I've also put the links there. So you can just go and click on it, and it'll take you straight there. And then you're also on Instagram, I believe. So
I
is it
am,
also,
not
yes,
much,
Vroufees.
but getting started there slowly but surely.
Okay, good stuff. So on Instagram, it's just Vroufees, Cathy. So you can go and have a look there and connect with Cathy. And, if you want to chat to Cathy, you can do it via those platforms. And with that, Cathy, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It was a very insightful conversation. And there's been some really truth bombs, and there's been insightful bombs, and there's been, I shouldn't say that word so much. Otherwise, YouTube may just think I'm talking about other things. But it was amazing. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate your time and for getting up so early and all of that to be with us this morning. And I want to wish you a happy Women's Month, and just keep doing what you're doing. It's making a difference.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a huge pleasure. All right, so with that, we've come to the end of today's show. Thank you for being here. And if you watched the recording, thank you so much. I wish you all a happy weekend. Stay safe, stay warm. And I will see you back next week, same time, same place, on Friday, 7 a.m. South African time. And we'll see you then. Have a good one until then. And please do get in touch if you want. And we will see you then. Cheers. Bye-bye.